the blue one peaceful afternoon. From where and for what reason did it come? For the next half hour, you will witness one of the most unusual events ever seen.
It's everyone's friend, it's Tyler. It's everyone's friend, it's Tyler.
Hey guys, Tyler here. Ultra Q was released back in 1966 and was inspired by the like of the Twilight Zone and the Outer Limit, and it was created by Eiji Tsuburaya, the former special effects director for the Godzilla series back in the Showa era. And it was a humongous success, and was also widely considered to be one of the biggest Japanese productions for television at that time period. And for the first time ever, this show had a monster of the week, so every single episode had different monsters, a concept that was completely new to a Japanese audience back then. And for this video, I'm going to talk about my top 5 episodes for this series, because I feel as though that this show does not get enough attention, and so without further hesitation, here's my top 5 episodes for Ultra Q. At number 5 is Mammoth Flower. Somewhere deep in Tokyo, a giant mysterious flower came out of nowhere and started to cover the whole entire building with its roots. And it started to attack people inside the building and started to cause chaos and mayhem. This particular episode is really interesting because it seemed as though that the similar concept was being used for other Tokusatsu shows thanks to this episode. For example, Godzilla vs. Biollante is one example of a giant flower monster that attacked people in Japan. Another example of this whole entire inspiration from this episode would be the whole entire second part for Gamera 2, where there was also a giant flower that pretty much attacked people. I find this episode to be really unique because the monster itself is really unique. And prior to those movies or shows that was inspired by this episode, I never seen a monster that actually has some sort of flower that started to attack people. So I really enjoyed this episode, and I think everybody would probably enjoy it too. At number 4 is Meet Gomez. Somewhere deep in some sort of mining field, they have some sort of giant monster that caused a disturbance among the mine workers. And obviously, of course, many people started to grow concerned about what's happening at the mine. However, some people found a giant egg, and within that egg hatched a giant bird that attacked the giant monster Gomez. Now, the giant monster Gomez was modeled entirely off of Godzilla because Eiji Tsuburaya had connections to Toho Studios thanks to his status as a former special effects director at that place, and started to borrow some sort of suits for the monsters that he couldn't build on his own. And as a result, we have Gomez, a suit that definitely is Godzilla, and of course the war is the only thing that's probably changed from it besides the design. It's a really fun episode. It reminds me so much about Rodan, because Rodan had a similar concept, because there was also some sort of mine people working at a place. They found some sort of giant egg. The giant egg turns out to be like giant things, and then Rodan started to come out. And so it reminds me so much about Rodan, but with a different twist. At number 3 is Grow Up Little Turtle. This episode is particularly peculiar because it's about a boy who is like super obsessed with his turtle. Gamera much. And pretty much at the school, he always want to bring his turtle. His parents, of course, are concerned about him and his turtle. Until one day, of course, he gets caught up with some sort of bank robbers, start to get robbed and kidnapped by those bank robbers. And pretty much the whole entire sequences after that it's just so dreamy and so nightmarish. You don't really know for a fact what is real, what is not real, until the very, very end of the episode. And that's what I'll say that much for the episode. It's very tippy, very dreamy, very childlike, definitely worth a watch. At number 2 is The Underground Express Goes West. This episode is extremely fast paced because most of the episode takes entirely on a train, and of course, people had no idea whether or not to stop the train or not because of an accident or whatever. And so pretty much it's up for the people behind the train to actually prevent the train from crashing. I definitely recommend this episode if you guys are really into fast-paced sort of action pieces. Before we get to number 1, let's briefly talk about all my favorite episodes to date, as well as a brief history of the English dub for this show. At number 5 is Mammoth Flower. At number 4 is Meet Gomez. At number 3 is Grew Up Little Turtle. At number 2 is The Underground Express Goes West. As most people know, when Ultraman first came to the United States back in 1967, it was dubbed entirely in English by the team of Peter Fernandez at Teacher Studios. However, very few people actually know that there's this dub that was existing for Ultra Q. It was picked up by United Artists Television like Ultraman, and of course it was dubbed entirely in English by a Canadian team. However, the English dub was not premiered until in the United States or any English speaking country, and to my knowledge the English dub, at least for one of the first few episodes, actually exists on YouTube. And so if you guys are interested in seeing the English dub, I'll provide a link in the description box down below. At number 1 is Baron Spider. This one has our favorite team of investigators inside of a haunted house that is full of cobwebs and whatnot inside of the building. And of course, they get attacked one by mysterious giant spiders. This particular episode has this sort of American sort of haunted house feel, and I really enjoyed this one because it's just so simplistic yet so effective when it comes down to being scary. I actually kind of jumped a little bit during the episode because spiders are not that cool. They're like one of my things that I'm actually afraid of. So watching that episode was definitely creepy. So what's your favorite episodes for Ultra Q? Please tell me in the comment section down below. And as always, you can support the official Blu-ray release from Mill Creek Entertainment, as well as Shout Factory to see more of these episodes of Ultra Q. And until next time guys, take it easy.
It's everyone's friend, it's Tyler. He's your only black friend, so he's your best black friend. I wouldn't trade him for another black friend, because black friends are rare, as you should be aware. He smiles like Richard Pryor, so just sit and stare. It's everyone's friend, it's Tyler. It's everyone's friend, it's Tyler. It's everyone's friend, it's Tyler.